Personal worship is something that is very, very, very important. It's the same with any, career or calling. If you don't stand by or live out what you're preaching or displaying to other people, then why are you doing it in the first place? You should be authentic. You should always practice what you preach, or do in your personal time what you do in the public. When you think of David, David was the very embodiment of a true worshiper. He took personal worship to a whole new level. That's where he started. He started in the field with the sheep, and he worshiped the Lord with all of his heart. He wrote, he sang, he played his harp, and then he was invited to play for the king. The king, that's huge. You go from playing for your sheep to playing for the king. That just shows how anointed he was, and that was because of his heart attitude. That's a really big part of personal worship that I think people kind of blow over, oh yeah, I worship in my room. But what's your heart attitude? Are you really focused in on worshiping the Lord, or do you have things around you that are distracting you? One of my favorite things to do is worship in the car. It's a really, really great exercise because you can't be on your phone anyways. The only distraction really is the road, but even then, you can totally still worship the Lord wholeheartedly. You just have to make sure to not close your eyes. May or may not have done that a time or two. Personal worship is so important because that really shows the Lord that you value him and that you just want to pour your love out on him and you want to worship him for who he is, not worship him so people can see you. That shows the intent of your heart. One aspect of worship in general that's also overlooked is letting the words that you're singing become heart knowledge. It's so easy to memorize something and sing it from force of habit or from memory. It's not just singing a bunch of words. Get used to worship being a precursor to a sermon. When worship is a lifestyle, it's a way of life. Your whole life should be a living sacrifice. It should be an act of worship. Another aspect of personal worship is surrendering every single area of your life over to the Lord and becoming a living sacrifice. Whether or not they know it or acknowledge it, everyone worships something, and it's so important to make sure that you don't worship the things of this world, because again, you can worship something without realizing it. It's all about what you give your time to. And when you not only give your time to the Lord, but every single area, that's the most important and the most pure act of worship, is being that living sacrifice. Whether or not you're a worship leader or you're called to music ministry, that doesn't matter. As a Christian, you should have personal worship times with the Lord. So I'm going to end with this. It's one of the many definitions on Webster's Dictionary of the word worship, but it says extravagant respect or admiration for or devotion to an object of esteem. And that truly is what worship is. It's pouring out that love and that admiration and that devotion to the Lord.